Welcome back. We're at part 16 of the Secret Turnabout. And last time we managed to get most of the truth out of Aiden Gambit, or Jonathan Seething as he's now been changed to in the profile. Read this new profile actually. A defense attorney who used the alias of Aiden Gambit in a recent larceny trial. His parents were murdered 13 years ago. There haven't been any other profiles updates, I don't think. No, I can see. Anyway, then we brought it back round to the murder of Corey Rupture, the whole reason why we're here, and he's trying to weasel his way out of it. We can't just press and guess in this testimony though. No more speaking to the jury for a little bit at least. But he is about to learn what real justice looks like. I think my volume's a bit high, so just give me a sec. We're ready. So you see, if we press that now, we have to connect it to something. Since Corey is the one who blackmailed and steal, it's clear he is the one who stole the files. What did he actually say? Did anyone check Alduin's? It can't be the provisions, I don't think, because even though there's proof he was in the underground library, he could have technically left for the vents to retrieve the files. Although the files didn't even get stolen anyway. It's remembered. I think that one's fine. Corey tried to use the pulley to escape. He tried to use the pulley to escape. See, this is what I'm confused about. At some point during the struggle, the rope snapped and was hidden by the vent entrance closing. Not realizing he was already dead, Eerie then cracked Corey's head in the fireplace. As I noted before, John is definitely filching the facts of his narrative, but I'm not stupid. I know what he's trying to do and I'll put a stop to it. For now, I just have to focus on breaking down the lies. No contradiction is too small. After a while, he'll be able to keep up, break some loose threads and the web falls apart, and then there'll be nothing left he can do to hide the truth. No? This evidence shows the problem with the argument, Your Honor. I fail to see how this addresses anything about the he argument in question. Are you sure that the argument has a pronoun, Your Honor? It's clear as day to me, this argument is not hurt by this evidence. But my feelings are... I would ask that you stop wasting this court's precious time. I must not be thinking clearly. Is it the remote? Could have she used the pulley, you say? You mean using the remote for the pulley that he didn't have? I'm sure you remember since this became a big part of the trial yesterday. But you can't use the motorized pulley without the remote to control it. But why is this so important, Mr. Justice? That's why I was trying to go forward this first present, but I mean, I guess it doesn't really mention the fact that it's remote control. Is the rope tied around Corey's neck is obviously from the pulley. Seething's argument is reliant on Hercule Eerie having some way to know about that pulley, or else his crime could not have happened in his version of events.
Yes, I see. That is indeed a problem.
Hey, it's no sweat. I can work around this. Just give me a chance to change my argument, and I'll be back on track. We'll see how long that confidence lasts, John. Eerie must have known about the pulley to kill Corey with it, so he must have placed it there. So he must have placed it there. So the Eerie placed... Don't tell someone. If Corey stole the files, Eerie can't have placed the thing, could it? Okay, let's see what it connects to. There's a clear contradiction in the argument, Your Honor.
What? There is.
If there's one thing Vera's testimony made incredibly clear, it's one thing. The pulley used in the larceny and the one used in the murder were ordered by the same person.
Yes, there is no denying that. It's an ironclad fact in this case.
It goes without saying, then, that whoever planted the pulley in the vents above the crime scene is the same person who used the other pulley to break into Mr. Edgeworth's office. After all, the thief left the remote for the companion pulley in Mr. Edgeworth's office. So I ask the question, if it's crystal clear that the same person was using both pulleys, how on earth could Hercule Eerie put a pulley in the vents when Corey Rupture was the thief?
Why, yes, that's quite right. Hercule Eerie cannot have been the one to place the pulley in the vents. If Corey Rupture used the pulley to commit larceny. Not when both pulleys were owned by the same person, after all.
Well, maybe they just set the pulleys between each other? Yeah, that's got to be it. That's impossible, Mr. Seething. By your argument's very logic, Rupture and Eerie were not in cahoots with each other. Otherwise, why would Eerie kill Rupture for trespassing? As it stands, it's incredibly clear that only one person could have used both pulleys. So which one is it, John? Did Corey Rupture use the pulleys or did Hercule Eerie? I see. The person who stole the files must have placed both pulleys. Very well, I can work with this. Hercule Eerie must have been the one to plant the pulley in the vents if he used it to strangle Corey. So it stands to reason that he must also be the one who stole the files from Edgeworth's office.
Mr. Seething, are you accusing the defendant of the larceny?
I am, Your Honor. Oh, Jesus Christ. You are just making this more embarrassing for yourself, man.
Order! Order in the court! This is a serious accusation to be making, Mr. Seething. What is your reasoning?
Well, I wasn't going to accuse him of it initially. There was no reason to. But if the defense is going to keep claiming the thief and the murderer are the same person, then it stands to reason if Eerie is responsible for one crime, he's responsible for the other. Trying to use my own argument against me, is he? Well, at least he learned something as a lawyer.
Well, defense, Mr. Seething has brought up new allegations against your client. How do you respond to this?
It's obvious bogus, but there is a logic to it. Still, it could give me a new angle to attack from. Let's see what possibilities this opens up. The defense would like the argument to be updated with these new allegations. We'll see how well it holds up to scrutiny. We'll see how long you can keep that smile going, Justice. But no need to worry. I was already planning to make some needed changes. So maybe Corey didn't steal the files from Edgeworth's office. Maybe it was Erie instead? He must be going around stealing secret files, that's why he was in Uji's chambers. Well, that's clearly... The argument conflicts with itself, Your Honor.
Oh, really? Please explain, Mr. Justice.
There's been an issue plaguing this case that has yet to truly be addressed. Why exactly was Corey Rupture inside the chambers where the crime took place?
I never really thought about it, but that's an excellent point.
Sealing City finally provided us with a reason for why Rupture would trespass here. The idea that he is actually a thief going around and stealing case files could explain it. There's just one problem with that explanation, however. It was based off of the claim that Corey Rupture stole the files from Mr. Edgeworth's office.
Yes, it's a logical step from one point to the next, I think.
However, Sealing's argument has changed. He now claims that it was Hercule Erie who stole the files from Mr. Edgeworth's office. This means his claims that Rupture was there to steal the files has nothing backing it up.
Yes, this does seem like a grave oversight in Mr. Seeding's argument. Do you have a way to explain this?
I mean, maybe it's not as convincing of an idea as before, but the idea that Corey was trying to steal files is still the best explanation. There's nothing to support that idea anymore. Well, I don't see you giving any better ideas, Hotshot. How about it? Think you can come up with anything better? A better explanation for why Rupture was at the crime scene? Could I figure that out? Do I really know the reason? Maybe, just maybe, there's something in the court record. Something that could point the finger at the true culprit. If Corey was in the chambers to steal files, then why was he there, huh? I'm thinking it's the first blackmail, honestly. Actually, explaining that should be really easy. After all, it's not as if he wanted to go there of his own volition.
What are you saying, defense? Are you saying the victim was forced to go to the crime scene?
That's exactly what I'm saying, Your Honor. It was never his choice at all. He was compelled to go to the judge's chambers that day. Yeah, that was for revealing that he had messed things up with Sealing. The injuries. Under threat of blackmail.
Blackmail? It can't possibly be. I completely forgot that this case literally has 2 blackmail letters.
The origins of this blackmail should have been called into question for a long while. It would seem to be addressed to the person who saved John's life all those years ago. Come on, Justice, I already said that was a mistake. The letters just got mixed up. Unfortunately, I already know you wrote this letter. After all, you are the one who suggested it was written by yourself.
So you're saying this letter's recipient was actually Corey Rupture?
That's correct, Your Honor. The letter told Rupture to go to the judge's chambers that day. That's why he was there. Okay, I'll humour you, Justice. Let's say the letter was sent to Corey. Let's say it told him to go to the judge's chambers. Why would it set things up to meet him there? I mean, if I wanted to ambush Corey, there'd be better places to do it. Doing it in the courthouse posed too much risk. I could have been so easily caught. Ambushing him in the judge's chambers would just be suicide. He brings up a good point. And there were other places he could have ambushed Rupture in order to set up this death trap of his. I had to think of an explanation and fast. You say Corey had the letter. Why did it tell him to go to a judge's chambers, huh? Could it be the secret passageway? That's the only thing I think of at the moment. The magnetic pole. I don't think so. I don't think it's the provisions either. What do the other statements say? The rope snapped and was hidden with the vent entrance closing. Should we try the passage? This evidence shows a problem with the argument, Your Honor.
Let's see how.
Yeah. I'm gonna try fireplace passage. And then my final thing that I'm gonna try in this line of thought is connected to the statement talking about the passage. That might work. No, I wasn't really too sure about that either. Maybe because of the relevance to AS10? Darwin here is clearly faulty, Your Honor.
It is, please explain how.
Well, you say.
You have no idea, do you?
No, Your Honor.
Afraid I cannot allow this behaviour in my courtroom. Penalty, Mr. Justice.
Oh, it's been embarrassing. To the remote. And blueprints. Take a look at this evidence, Your Honor. It shows the inconsistency with this argument.
It does? How so exactly?
You mean you don't see it?
I'm afraid I failed to see how that evidence contradicts your hand.
Oh, I see.
Perhaps you should have thought before presenting that evidence, Mr. Justice.
Maybe I jumped the gun a bit. No, I was not thinking it would be the magnetic pole. Last shot in the dark provisions. Nope. There was a defense attorney. Okay, I'm gonna have to really think for this one. Just because of the pulley? No? I've presented most things. Let's if I connect the statement to itself. I can't connect the statement itself. Not realizing he was already dead. Are we going through the statements outside of it now? The argument isn't consistent with itself, Your Honor.
It is, but I don't see anything wrong.
You don't?
The argument here holds water, it seems.
Oh, okay.
I must ask that you refrain from making such wild claims to my court, Mr. Justice.
I am just looking at it wrong. We're looking at these first two statements. Does that do anything?
Clearly, how can you be so sure?
It isn't obvious. I mean, it's not really obvious. This, because it would alert someone to his presence.
So you were just bluffing?
Yeah, pretty much.
I will not tolerate such behaviour in my courtroom. You'll be penalised for this.
Ouch, that wasn't a good move. Must have known about the puzzle. Let's try these two. Nope. Have someone to frame. rope could go there, maybe. If I try presenting everything, I can at least rule out that it's not a piece of evidence. I'll skip the things I think that I've already presented. I don't think it'll be the security team. I haven't really tried presenting the profiles, have I? I did a little, but I hope you can. I'm wondering, will it be because of the larceny trial? No. I think it'll be any of these guys. Okay, so we'll be connected to a different state. Maybe it was Eerie instead. Eerie must have known about the pulley. I'm not sure if I already tried this or not. Oh, it's doing so well as well. What answer does it want? I'll try each of them. So I think there's literally nothing I can do now other than trying everything. Trybien one, I think. Alerted Eerie to his presence. So it has to be one of the other statements, right? Okay. That technically is inconsistent, but I guess I've already kind of addressed that. There's literally nothing I can think of. Maybe... I don't know what else to do other than look up walkthrough, unfortunately, because I'm genuinely stumped here. Okay, I cave in and check the walkthrough, but I don't know, this one seemed kind of... This is entered from the vents, which, you know... You can enter the vents either way, you know. This isn't exactly the easiest... Well, especially with the way he worded that. I think that could have been... Oh, John, didn't you hear? We already know Corey didn't enter from the vents. What are you talking about? You weren't here when we discussed this earlier. But Emma and I found provisions belonging to Corey Rupture in the underground bunker. You know about the bunker? We do, naturally. The main question here is, how do you know about it? After all, even some judges don't know about that secret.
Well, Mr. Seething, do you have an answer for that?
Fine, I was doing a bit of research into the courthouse for a case. I found some more blueprints that gave away its location. Happy? I wonder if he and Juristic stumbled onto the same blueprints. Regardless, Corey Rupture was already in the bunker before the crime occurred. Him using the vents to enter the scene makes absolutely no sense. See... No, he got into the vents. I think... if you could reword that, because yeah, you'd have to say entered the vents from the outside. You have to make that clear, because that part was confusing to me. Obviously, we know he was camped down here. Alright, fine. I'm nothing if not flexible. I'm going to change my argument to reflect this information. Alright, let's see if this new statement changes anything. Coroner into the chambers from the fireplace passage, which is connected to the bunker. Now I think we can connect. These two statements are connected, Your Honor.
Truly, defense, you've stumbled upon something.
There's one question that arises when we ask why the victim was sent to the judge's chambers. Why exactly would they do that?
Well, according to your theory, it was to ambush the victim, yes?
Yes, but that just causes new problems. If the killer sent out the blackmailers with the intent of ambushing Corey Rupture, then why use the judge's chambers as a spot of ambush? That may have been the death trap's location, but there were better places. To attack the victim and knock them unconscious if that is the reason. Those are trying to represent in the provisions, but yeah. It'd be much better to do it in a more secluded area that wouldn't attract much attention. I think, you know, I've been praising this trial a lot, but that particular way of doing things, it's a bit finicky, isn't it? There's a cleaner way of doing that.
Well, it would be convenient to attack them in an area close to the death trap, correct?
Well, that is true. It was still too risky to attack. Far too risky to attack him there. Keep in mind that John Seething had been waiting for his revenge for 13 years. To risk being caught by attacking him in the chambers would be taking far too many chances. Unless, of course, there was a place both secluded and near the death trap.
Oh, you mean...
Naturally, I'm talking about the bunker underneath the judge's chambers. The provisions found there already proved Corey Rupture had been in the bunker. But it's the defense's belief that it was in this bunker that the killer and the victim met up. This is where Corey Rupture spent his last moments of consciousness.
Order! Order in the court! Are you telling me that when we first played with Aiden Gambit, right at the start of this case, he had literally just come from pulling up the victim into the vents? Intriguing! Please continue, defense. You just had a casual beat him up, stuff him in the vent, then go to trial.
Of course, Your Honor. Rupture was blackmailed to spend his last moments camping down the underground bunker. What exactly were his instructions to do down there are, as of yet, unclear. But either way, this made the perfect place to lay the final groundwork for the trap. The killer attacked the victim, knocking him unconscious. Then he carried Rupture's unconscious body up the ladder and placed him in the death trap.
That sounds like quite a difficult task to accomplish.
It probably was. He must have been winded after all was said and done. However, his hatred ran strong. It's what kept him going for 13 long years after all. Well, John, what do you have to say to that? You can't be serious. What do you mean? See, what you said isn't even possible, Justice. Even if I managed to carry Rupture up the ladder through the sheer grit and determination, I wouldn't have been able to set him in the death trap. And why not exactly? See, I saw the blueprint for those vents. I know how they work. If I tried to get Rupture in the vents using the pulley, he'd be on the side of the vents with the pulley. Meaning, of course, he wouldn't be pulled towards the trapdoor. On the other hand, if I then tried to pull them to the other side of the door to set up the trap, well, we both would have fallen through. That's a good point. Well, the solution is obvious, isn't it? Why assume the fireplace passage only connects to our judge's chambers? You must have carried Corey to another judge's chambers that day. You entered the vents from another judge's chambers and set up the death trap. Problem solved. Hey, that's a good point. That sounds like a plausible explanation to me, Judge Erie. Objection! Yo, what the hell, dude? It's just supposed to be me and Justice right now. Butt out. Overruled! You little scallywag. Oh, really? If I remember, your exact words were no Mr. Wright, no Mr. Edgeworth, and no Jordy. Last I checked, I'm not included in that list. You would make a good lawyer. Besides, I have a good idea of whose chambers you used that day. Judge Judice. He wouldn't have been in his chambers that morning. Unaccountably and suspected of embezzlement. Wait, you can't mean... That's right, he was the one Corey was supposed to defend that day. It all comes full circle. There were rumours that he took bribes from businessmen and politicians for verdicts. But he was on trial for supposedly pocketing funds from his cousin's business. Oh, I get it. Prejudice. I'm afraid that's the most I can help you with, Mr. Justice. I'm clueless from this point onward. It's okay, I've got it from here. John must have used the other pulleys to pull the victim up to the vents. Good thing you're not spouting ghost stories anymore, it's been a while. After all, the remote for that pulley was not in police custody. Once everything was set up, you removed that pulley from the vents. You see, it's entirely possible for you to go attack Rupture and knock her unconscious. Oh, we're back on this, are we? The idea that I attacked Corey. With what exactly? My charming smile? Clearly I didn't attack him with my bare hands if he didn't even lay a scratch on me.
He does have a point, Mr. Justice. If the two had gotten into a struggle, Mr. Seething would have been hurt in the process. Yet he seems completely unharmed.
So attack the victim using some kind of weapon then. I also try and figure out what he was attacked with then. Very well, please add the statement to your argument. You still won't give up? Fine. You're really starting to get on my nerves, you know that. This is the big metal pole. There are signs of pre-mortem strangulation. 2% the autopsy for that? We have to present the specific weapon, which would be the rope. No? Maybe the pole? Actually, we already have the perfect candidate for the potential weapon of assault. In fact, it was also something found in the underground bunker. What did you say? I have to remind everyone of the existence of this magnetic stopper. It was removed on the day of the murder to set up the death trap to hang the victim. And then it was used to knock the victim unconscious. Yeah. I overthinked it a bit there. Overthought it? Whatever.
Order in the court.
The fact that the killer used the stopper as a weapon to knock the victim unconscious means they must have entered from the unused vents that day. It's the defense's belief that after he grabbed the stopper, Seething exited the vents, and then entered the bunker, either from the crime scene or Judge Judice's chambers. So...
But wouldn't that leave bruises on Mr. Seething if that were the case?
Of course, but it's likely those bruises have already healed by now. Therefore, his lack of bruises does not prove he never went through the vent at all. Come on, Justice, get serious. You know I'm not the only one who could have used that passage. Eerie could have used it too. In fact, him being at the crime scene is proof he must have used those vents that day. After all, how else did he get into those chambers? There'd be no need for Hercule Eerie to use the vent passageway that day. I have proof to back that up.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Let's use proof of yours.
Does he not know about this bookcase passage, or does he think we don't know?
Why would Hercule Eerie have not used the vent passageway on the day of the murder?
Did we all forget why the defendant was suspected in the first place? His bookcase passage connects to the scene of the crime. Bookcase passage? Oh, were you not here to hear about that, John? All judges' chambers have a bookcase passage in case of emergency. In fact, the broken hinges on the bookcase prove he did use it that day. Of course, you didn't count on that being the case. You didn't know he'd enter that way. Meaning you couldn't have predicted him finding the body. Yeah, why you? How about it, John? Finally ready to give up? Huh. You really think I'm giving up so easily, Justice? Oh, come on, what will it take you to finally give up? You've done a good job of weaving a narrative of speculation and what-ifs, but you really can't connect it all back to me, can you? What are you talking about? Your theory is so reliant on me being your killer, Justice, but there's one major problem. There's nothing tying it back to me, nothing at all. But the letter, you wrote the letter. You even admitted it yourself. Get real, Justice. You know everything I said during the larceny trial was bogus. I see an excuse to keep the trial going so I could backsteal into the ultimate corner. If I'm the one who attacked Corey that day, prove it. For Pete's sake, how can I possibly prove something like that? Maybe I need to turn my thinking around. Maybe it's already been proven? That's gotta be it. Somewhere in John's argument already exists the proof I need. Just one last connection should be all I need to finally fill the gap. Corey was ambushed in the bunker. That doesn't really tie back to me at all. Is it the fact that he knows what the vent entrance closing, or...? And he's definitely confirmed that we need to do a connection here. We can't just present evidence. I don't think it's this one or this one. Potentially. We haven't used this yet. Nope. Yeah, how did I know about this one? Is this the thing that he can't have known about? Are we really just going to tie this to the letter? Oh, it's that simple. Is it? This connection proves my case. I mean... Main problem with trying to tie this crime back to John Seething all comes back to one issue. There's simply no smoking gun to connect back to him. All there is to connect him back to the crime are the people involved. That's really it.
Indeed, he's been able to so easily explain away his connection to the crime itself.
But that all changes when we consider one thing that destroys his argument.
And what's that, Mr. Justice?
John simply had his hands on one thing he shouldn't have.
One thing he shouldn't have?
Once again, it all comes down to this blackmail letter. We already know this letter was sent to Corey Rupture. After all, this letter is the reason he was at the underground bunker to begin with. So now there's just one major question left. Why did John have this letter during the larceny trial?
That's an excellent point. He shouldn't have had it.
This letter is the smoking gun, the piece of evidence that ties the crime back to John Seething. I thought we already tried that. Because the only way he could have this letter is if he ambushed Corey Rupture in the bunker. Nah.
Oh, dynamite order! This is indeed very damning for Mr. Seething's claims. Logically speaking, if Corey Rupture was the one to receive the blackmail letter, then there should be no reason he would have it for the trial on the day of the murder.
Hang on, this isn't over yet. You still don't have proof the letter was even sent to Corey in the first place. You're still missing the other half of the letter. You can't claim to know what it said. Mr. Seething, I'm afraid it no longer matters anymore. What? Oh, you remember? I don't need an unreasonable level of proof to bring you down. Your argument has a lot of very obvious holes that you just can't explain. My theory, however, is logically sound. All I really needed was a definitive reason to suspect you of the crime. We'll let the jury decide what to make of it now. The jury? Well, guys, you've been given both sides. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know who to believe anymore. Bah! Fine! You've convinced me, Redhorn. The kid is clearly lying out of his butt. I mean, there's just nothing really convincing really tying it back to the defendant anymore. I'm trying so hard to see your side, but the defense is so solid. Paul just found his newest fan. I'd need more to declare a guilty verdict. Without it, I'm siding with him.
This has been enlightening. I think I must concur with the defense. He is right.
Oh, come on, you're siding with him? It's all over now, John. Your argument has fallen flat. You can't defend yourself from this judgment any further. And it's all thanks to you. Yes, because it was you who presented the letter to this court. If you hadn't done that, you wouldn't have proven that you were tied to the crime. It was the one piece of evidence we needed, and you handed it to us on a silver platter. No!
It seems, at last, there are no more arguments to be made.
Indeed, and what a truth these arguments have led us to. As it stands, evidence against the defendant, Hercule Erie, is now rather lacking. Meanwhile, the case against Jonathan Seething has become incredibly strong indeed. Oh, he be Seething.
Indeed, that does not seem to be how things are leaning. The evidence presented would not be strong enough in a trial using the bench system. However, a trial by jury is a horse of a different colour. Brown!
Okay, Your Honour. Judge Erie's innocence and John Seething's guilt are clear for anyone to see, simply by nature of it being the most logical explanation for the crime. Where the evidence is lacking, the jury's common sense and feelings will fill in the blanks.
Indeed, and so the time has come to trust they know what is right. With that, I believe the time has come to turn to the jury for the verdict.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Justice? His innocence and my guilt are clear for anyone to see? Don't make me laugh, that's pathetic. Seriously, what more could you possibly have to say? It's all over, John. We've done all we can. I mean, I know this case started off with a narrative framing device that made it seem like things weren't going to have a happy ending. But come on, who cares about that? There's nothing left to discuss. We just have to let the jury come to their own conclusions. Come to their own conclusion, you say? Yeah, sure. I'm sure that's totally what it is. That is, if you consider being spoon-fed what they're supposed to think, their own conclusions. I don't know what you're getting at, Jonathan. The jury has been given the truth of the matter. It's as simple as that. The truth according to who? To you, Mr. Edgeworth? You failed to argue in favour of the defendant's guilt. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was supposed to be the prosecutor today. Oh, wait. I'm not. That's supposed to be your job. I mean, it's no wonder I was floundering around up here. I got no support from anyone. I was left to fend for myself. Just like what Corey and Steele did to me all those years ago. And the last time that happened, a guilty man walked free. This is not the same thing. Isn't it, though? You abandoned your duties as a prosecutor. You didn't give me a chance to explain my side at all. You were against me from the start. If the chief prosecutor decides he wants to play defense attorney during such an important case, well, with that attitude, it's no wonder your officers are in complete shambles. No! Miss Edgeworth helped us to pursue the truth. That's what matters. Wrongo! He helped you argue your case. You all ganged up on me and expected me to handle a 2v1. You agreed to a 2v1, you fucking idiot. You call it a fair and balanced trial? No, of course you do. I mean, this trial is the brainchild of Phoenix, right, after all? What, are you truly fighting for justice? What do you think you're achieving? You think this justice system will, what, end this so-called dark age of the law? Is that what you've been told to believe? By who? An ex-lawyer bitter about losing his badge? Newsflash, justice, this corruption in our courts, it's always been there. There is no dark age because there was never a bright age. It's always been this way. So I'll ask again, what are you fighting for? What I'm fighting for? I've never even really stopped to think about it at all. Oh yeah, to get your annoying ass behind bars as soon as possible. That's what I'm fighting for. Is it really something I believe? Or is it something I've been told to believe in? No, wait. I can't get tripped up by empty platitudes. If you've got anything to say, then say it to the jury, John. They're the ones who will decide your fate. The Senate will decide your fate. Alright, I can play that game. I'm sure many of you share the same doubts I do, after all. I'm sure there have been questions running through your mind about all of this. Like why you're taking orders from a man who was disbarred 7 years ago. A man so disgruntled with the world he decided he thought the world had to change for him. He didn't create the jury system to fix anything. He created it for sheer petty revenge. And you all fell for it hook, line and sinker.
Mr. Gambit, that is enough.
Enough with what? Telling it like it is? Let's face it, Mr. Wright has been running this entire game. Both the prosecution and the defense colluded with him to pin this crime on me. Yeah, we just picked a random defense attorney for some reason. He happened to be John Seething, you know. We did a master level play managing to figure that out. You were never given the option to think for yourselves.
Mr. Seething, that is enough. Jurors, please disregard what has just been said.
What's that? Can't handle a bit of criticism? I'm not allowed to speak my mind, am I? Any dissenting opinion must be silenced? Just like our courts to censor the voices of those who go against their narrative. Your words are hollow, John. No matter what you say, you can't overturn one simple fact. My theory still explains everything about the crime. Oh really? Everything, you say? Would you be willing to stake your entire case on it? What is he getting at? You still have yet to even see it, do you? You haven't even realized it yet. There's still one last contradiction in the facts you have yet to explain. One last contradiction? What is he talking about? Hold on. I remember now. He can't possibly mean... It's actually a bit strange. What was? Based on the blood splatter, he should have been right on top of the fireplace. However, he was instead found right next to it. Yes, Justice, I'm talking about the blood splatter on the fireplace. Based on your theory, he should have been lying right on top of the fireplace when we entered. But he wasn't. He had to have been moved by somebody. But it couldn't have been me. I was in court right until we walked into that room. That's a good point, actually. And with a broken neck, I don't think he could have moved that much, could he? He's right. There's no way he could have moved the body before anyone saw it. The only one who could have had the opportunity is... No. He can't be insinuating. Can he? Well, anything you want to say, Hercule? What? I am... Why are you all looking at me?
Judge Erie, you didn't.
Well, you see, I saw Corey lying on the ground. I tried to see if it were possible to save him, so I pulled him out from under the fireplace. And that's when I saw the gash on his head and...
Judge Erie, are you really confessing to tampering with the crime scene?
I'm sorry. And there you have it. A prosecutor who won't prosecute, a defendant who tampered with the evidence. I mean, is it really tampering with the evidence if this before the investigation? All run by a man trying to take revenge on a world that took his badge away. Is this the kind of world you're going to stand for? You've been given the chance to finally right these wrongs, to finally let justice prevail, or you could let history repeat itself again. You could once again let the courts bully John Seething, the young boy who lost his parents. Nope, speaking in the third person won't make me have sympathy for you, man. And let the courts continue to abuse their power and destroy his life. Is this what you want, for the cycle of abuse to continue into the future? Are you going to stand for that? This from a man who admitted to blackmail. But I'm sure the jury is about to forget that. No. Not again. Juror 1. I won't let what happened to John happen again. Not after I saw him hurting so much. I side with John. I won't be a pawn in this game any longer. But... Yeah, lay off him, you jerk. Hey, I mean, John isn't like that. John, I'm with you, now and forever. What the hell are you two on about? We had an entire trial to prove he's a liar. The kid makes one speech and that's what all it takes for you to forget all that? Yeah, I mean, the case against the defendant isn't exactly super strong. Shut up, nobody asked you. Yeah. What's going on right now? The jury is going completely out of control.
I, for one, stand firmly with the defendant on this matter. I believe in Judge Erie's innocence. The man has not lied to us so far.
Didn't lie to us, he tampered with the crime scene. And on the fact that Mr. Seething has been fighting both the prosecution and the defense, how can we trust he's truly innocent with all of this? Guys, let's just talk this out. No, there's been enough talking. We need to take action now. The time for deliberation is over. I say we pass our judgments now. No, hold on, wait just one moment. Guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Not guilty.
What the heck? It's not possible. I don't believe it. No, they wouldn't.
Is this really happening?
What's going on? What are they doing?
The jurors, they completely split down the middle. What's going on? The jury can't agree for a verdict.
But it's meant to be such a solid case. Why are they so split on this? But the prosecution did gang up on him to not four jurors in charge of the jury. But they're supposed to work this stuff out. Isn't the future of our court? Is the future of our courts? Can we really trust a jury to handle a case like this ever again when they can't even agree here?
Order! 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 Why do so many people with bad Scottish accents in this court?
No, this isn't good. If they can't agree on a verdict, then... Oh, wait, no, hold on. Please reconsider your positions. We need to agree on a verdict. Please change your votes. Ha! I'm not changing my vote. I'm right. Neither am I, Buster. You guys change your votes. But I'm certain of my votes. There can be no mistake. Are you implying I made a mistake? The sheer audacity. See, juror number 2. I always knew he was the best juror. This guy, you know, he knows what's really going on. Willpower never lets us down. This guy also never lets us down. You let me down. But I also had a theory that you were in on it somehow, so who knows. And Karen Orphanage Runner is what I'm going to call Juror 1 from now on. No, I won't. I can't. You do it. This isn't happening. This can't be happening right now. Why won't they just talk it out? Why won't they agree on a verdict? What was I fighting for this entire time? For this to be the outcome? Now at last you understand, Mr. Justice. You finally understand what I've been trying to tell you all along. All of this, the juror system, is just a band-aid solution. You can't weed out the problems without a fundamental shake-up. All of this is just for show. It's just as I've said, you can't fix a system that's rotten to its core. Ha! You. Curse you. Jonathan Seething, or rather Aiden Gambit, the man who replaced him. I will stop at nothing until you're brought to justice, Gambit. I swear it. Oh, please. This is the sound of a pathetic man who knows he's lost. He's completely recovered. This is what your creed has earned you. This is the bed of your own making. Truth? Justice? All an illusion. The only justice in this world is what you make for yourself. But I know you're stubborn, so it's not like you'll listen anyways. Why, John? Why would you do this? Did your hatred know no limits? Your vengeance no bounds? Why have you made it your mission to destroy our hopes for the future? Don't think I don't see you glaring at me, Justice. But if you're planning to give me a lecture, I'm not interested in hearing it. Maybe you don't approve of my actions, but I don't care. I at least know that they were mine to make. Can you say the same about yourself, Justice? Who are you really fighting for, Justice? Yourself? Or was it for an old geezer who thought he could change the world and drag you into his game? Think long and hard about it. Though, I think we both know the answer you'll come to. Who am I fighting for? Was this really my fight? Do I truly believe in the chance for a better tomorrow at all? Weren't you supposed to be fighting for me, boy? Shut up. You don't matter anymore. Or was I just chasing someone else's dream? Well, we can be so close to justice and it can slip out of our grasp at the last second. Is this a future truly worth fighting for? What was the point in fighting to begin with? Mr. Wright, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can fight for your dream. But I don't know why I was even fighting to begin with. What's with the long face, son? Oh, I'm gonna have to do a voice for this guy now. Why did I become a lawyer, you ask? Ha ha ha! Good question. It's because everybody needs someone on their side at some point in their life. It's a lawyer's job to never give up on their client in their hour of need. That's why I've always lived by one motto. A dragon never yields. Everybody needs someone on their side at some point in their life. I think I understand. John Seething, he never had anybody on his side. That's why he lost hope. I know what it's like to feel abandoned by the world. To feel so alone and unloved. I don't know why you left me behind. I don't know if I'll ever come to terms with it. I don't know if I'll ever forgive you for abandoning me. Even so, I find myself turning to your words time and time again. Because John speaks with such vitriol, such anger at the world. Could I have gone down that path, I wonder? If I hadn't met the people important to me, to guide me? Clay, Trucy, Mr. Wright, Christoph Gavin. Actually, that's not the best example. Maybe I too could have become just like John, embittered by a world that scorned me. There's a coldness in his eyes. He smiles, but there's no happiness. He's acting like he's won a huge victory, like he's on top of the world and can't be touched. But really, he's suffering. He can't be happy about anything. He lost that feeling long ago. Hatred really is all he has left because he can't trust anyone anymore. It didn't have to be like this. All he needed was one person to stick by his side in his grief. Instead, he got a man looking to exploit his grief and a man who refused to defend him. Because of that, John Seething died, killed by negligence, and in his place, Aiden Gambit was born. I used to think I fought to expose the John Seethings of the world, but maybe I've been fighting to prevent more Aiden Gambits from being created. It may be too late for him, but there are others out there just like him in this world. Those who suffer because they don't have anyone on their side, and I'll be right there to support them when they need me the most. Here's where we stand on this matter. I let Justice have his little monologue for a little bit. We were just, having a bit of a sandwich break, but now we can actually talk trial. Due to the jury not reaching a consensus, a verdict cannot be declared at this time. However, the defence and prosecution have no more deliberations to make. Because of this, I am giving the jury until tomorrow morning this time. I pray that we may get a unanimous vote before our time is up. What about me? What happens to me? The defendant, Hercule Leary, shall remain in detention until this trial reaches its end. If the verdict is not declared when time is up, we shall cross that bridge when we come to it. Well, now it seems you weren't able to pin this on me. Too bad, so sad for you. Is this really it? Is there nothing more that can be done? I mean, we're going to get him for blackmail, right? Shortly. He admits to that. What do I even do now? It's time for that one final decisive piece of evidence. The worst of times when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. What's with that look, Justice? Finally lost your mind? Or are you just trying to hide your embarrassment from everyone else? The only one hiding anything here is you, John. The smiles because I've finally realised who you really are. Who I really am. Yes, it's not Aiden Gambit, the cocky, calculating defence attorney, nor is it John Seething, the hate-filled spirit out for revenge. Deep down, you're still just that scared little kid hiding under the bed. For 13 long years, you've been hiding away, hoping for the pain to go away, hoping that if you keep hiding, the world will stop being that big, scary place you feared. But that never happened. The world never became any less frightening. The trauma remained. You never came to terms with what had happened to you. So you made a choice to get back at the people who wronged you. You made the wrong choice, and now you just have to keep hiding, because the moment you stop will come for you. This is your punishment, John, the retribution for your actions. You'll try to run, but will chase you, no matter how long it takes. And if you're never found, even if you never see a day behind bars for your crimes, you'll be that boy hiding under the bed forever, never able to truly come out from the shadows. Cold-blooded, man. Big words coming from the losing side. You can talk big all you want, but nothing will change that in the end. In the end, you failed. This ends our game, Justice. I gotta admit, it's been fun. Well, alright, I guess that's the end of the video, because... Oh, there's more. Say what you want, John. You know deep down and I'm right. You can run and hide, but we know you're out there now. Jonathan Seething, I promise you this isn't over. So brought the trial of Hercule Leary to a close. The verdict undecided, I was forced to stick around all night to try and sort things out. Deliberations went back and forth, but in the end, not a single person changed their vote. It was truly exhausting. All hope was basically lost if the verdict would be declared. At the same time, while the court wasn't in session, Apollo continued his investigation. He hoped to find some sort of evidence to convince the jury of Seething's guilt, and his search brought him once again to the underground library. We're going to finally get to look at maybe some of the books in here. I didn't think we were going to get another investigation part, but, well, we're already committed to finishing this, I think, today, so let's keep going. January 18th, 12:25 p.m. It's 2 days after the murder. This is quite close to when it would have so District Court Underground Library. Come on, Apollo, we must have been through this show 5 times by now. Look, I'm sorry, it's not my fault all these files look the same. The organization down here is all out of whack. How is anyone supposed to find anything here? They weren't, remember? All these files are supposed to be secret from the public. I know that, but still, a bit of cleanliness never hurt anybody. The search seems pretty hopeless. What can we even hope to find down here? I told you, Emma. Corey Rupture was sent down here for a reason. He can't have just been camping out down here just to wait to die. He was looking for something. How can you be so sure? I mean, he came down here because he was being blackmailed. If killing Rupture was all John was concerned about, there would be no need to have him camp out. He could have just told Rupture to meet him here the day of the murder if that was his plan. Whatever Rupture was looking for, it must have taken him a while to find it. Fine, I'll search in this direction. No one ever will even find anything, but... hold on, what's this? What is it? This section is missing a file, and in its place is this. It can't be. Let me see that. So Rupture hid his letter down here. And we'll take a look at the original letter for a sec. That also started with just the one who saved my life, that's what I thought. To the one who saved my life. Now that I have your attention, your instructions are as follows. Send a letter to Manny Steele and threaten him to steal the AS-10 files from the chief prosecutor. Enter the courthouse fence on the side of the building and try not to be seen. There's a secret passage in Judge Judas's chambers. Press the button on the fireplace. Enter into the passageway and look through the files in the underground library. Look through the files and collect all the information you can on a man called Noah Baggage. It will take several days to find what you need. Bring food and clothes. Failure to comply will result in the secret you've kept hidden for 13 long years being revealed. Do not betray me again. I am watching you. Signed, the Spirit of Seething. This is the second half of Corey Rupture's blackmail letter. This proves everything I was trying to say in the trial. I don't get it. Why would he tell the victim to blackmail Steele? Couldn't he just do it himself in that case? Well, firstly, his original trial plan was to pin the blame on Rupture. He likely needed the second letters for evidence pointing to that. But then his plans changed because of Miss Edgeworth. Secondly, his plan relied on Steele having some sort of trust in him. Enough to be his lawyer. If he sent a letter, it's unlikely Steele would have trusted him at all. I guess that makes sense. Since we're also supposed to enter from Judge Judas's chambers, not from the crime scene. Do you think this means the passage at the crime scene wasn't what Rupture and Seething used? Probably. His honest brother's chambers were chosen as the crime scene to frame him. But Judge Judas's chambers were probably safer to use for getting into this bunker. Because he was arrested for embezzlement, right? Right. Apollo, there's one other thing you should say. What? What is it? It's this, another letter that was hidden with the first. Another letter? What kind of letter? Just reading the first few lines, I would say this is Corey Rupture's last will and testament. What? That's not possible. That would mean... This is his will. That means he came here knowing he would die. Ooh, and I want you to do a voice for Corey Rupture. What would he sound like? As I sit here struggling... No. He's a defense attorney, bit corrupt, forging evidence. What is it? He's got that kind of face, doesn't he? He's like... As I sit here struggling to keep awake... No, that's a bit too posh sounding, I think. He's dealing with the mafia. I probably shouldn't think too hard about this. I did just do Apollo's voice for the last blackmail letter, but I want to think of a good voice to do for Rupture. As I sit here... No. That's too close to Apollo, I think. As I sit here struggling to keep awake in the darkness, I think back to how I got into this mess. It seems the boy has remembered who I am after all and is using that as leverage for his demands. In the best case scenario, it will be necessary for me to even leave this behind in the first place. Yet I feel a sense of endless dread as I continue to follow my blackmailer's instructions. I can feel it. My task here is but a mere distraction. There can only be one reason I was brought here. This darkness is to be my tomb. As such, I feel it necessary to hide away this letter, as well as my blackmailer's instructions. To anyone who finds this letter, consider it a confession, my most heinous crime. I am the one who saved Jonathan Seething. The attempt on his life was not a lie. And yet I fabricated evidence to suggest his story was a mere work of fiction. Murder was a guilty man, yet not once did I regret my trick to get him declared innocent. Afterwards I hid John away from the world and pretended he no longer existed. Yet that was not the end of it. The boy has once again returned to haunt me for my sins. If all goes well and I survive this ordeal, I will burn this letter as soon as I possibly can. Should I die, however, know that Jonathan Seething is my killer. Seething, disguised as Aiden Gambit, will stop at nothing to get revenge on those responsible for the death of his parents 13 long years ago. We are all at risk. Nobody is safe anymore. Know this, if John really is to kill me here, it will be a blessing rather than a curse. This is a secret I have been trying to hide for 13 years. If it was revealed, it would ruin me. I would rather die than see the day when this happens. I have no regrets. I have lived a life of fame and success. Farewell, and bring my murderer to justice. Signed, Corey Rupture. Emma, this is it. This is just what we need. Haha, yes. Nobody in the jury could deny this evidence. This proves John's the killer. Apollo. I take this to them right away. Then maybe they could... Apollo! Yeah. It's over, Apollo. There's no way that's going to happen. Why not? If I rush over there before time's up, then... Apollo, time's up in 2 minutes. You wouldn't even get through the door. 2 minutes? You mean... It's 12:28. DL6? You need to be there by 12:30. It isn't happening. You only just get out of this bunker if you're a fast climber. No! I wasted too much time. I don't believe it! I couldn't find the evidence I needed in time. Look, it's okay, Apollo. You found the evidence you needed. It's better than nothing. Maybe, but now I'm left with even more questions. Like, the other half of the letter mentions Noah Baggage. It's not the same Noah Baggage I'm thinking of, is it? If you mean Senator Noah Baggage, that could be likely. There are rumours the dude has done some shady crap, but what's new with politician? Known to have links to a famous politician. Emma should probably be made aware of this. The AS10 files mentions that the killer may have been connected to a politician. You don't think that maybe that politician was... Look, I'm not going to say anything that could get me fired, Apollo. But I will say that eyes are turned on him right now after some recent events. Recent events? What recent events? Like his cousin embezzling funds from his company, for instance. Embezzling funds? Wait, you can't mean... Yeah, his cousin is Judge Pret Judas. Unbelievable. So now everything connects back to Baggage. I thought we were getting close to the end of the story, but we're only going deeper down. Yeah, but I don't know how much further we'll get now. If we could have pinned Seething, we might have been able to start getting the answers to these questions. That's stupid, Jory. We almost had him. He was right there. And then they just let him go. Just because they let their emotions get in the way. Jurors 1 and 4 knew John from before. They let their biases get in the way. And then Juror 5, she wanted to be fair, but she let it get into her head. She changed her vote at the last minute, all because he told her the trial was a sham. Emma, look, it's okay. No, it's not. Do you remember what this trial was supposed to be, Apollo? What it was trying to do? Oh no, that's right. This was supposed to be an important trial. It was supposed to be the final test run. How's it going to look, Apollo? How do you think people will react to this news? The jury system tripped at the finish line. The jury wasn't able to reach a verdict. Do you know what happens when a trial ends without a verdict being declared, Apollo? Honestly, I could care less about the jury system. I just want to use this evidence to pin it on Seething. Which we still can do because, you know, we could get, even if they rule, you know, guilty, because the jury's undecided, we can get that overturned. Declaration of mistrial. For all intents and purposes, we're supposed to act that this trial never happened. This is a disaster. What will people think of the jury system now? Look, Apollo, for what it's worth, I doubt Judge Eddie will be tried again. With this new evidence, the finger points away from him now. We can put an APB out for John Seething, but he's probably long gone by now. Really? You're not gonna keep eyes on the one other suspect in the murder? I mean, I guess it is the Ace Attorney Police. They didn't think of this, did they? Yeah, when they said him to stick around. Probably knows we're after him now. Look, Apollo, I don't say this very often, but I don't know what Mr. Wright was thinking. What? What do you mean? I mean, this whole juror system thing. How can we trust something with such blatant flaws? To the public, they'll see the final test was a mistrial and wonder what the hell went wrong. But those in the know will see a guilty man exploiting the system to walk away free. Ask yourself, Apollo, is that really the change we need? We only got away with it with Kristoff because he was such an idiot. He called all the jury foolish plebeians, peasants. Are we okay with taking this risk ever again, just because people complain about a dark age? And both of them were accusing the defense attorney, funnily enough. Because Seething was right about one thing: the dark age of the law is just a hoax. Bad actors have existed in our courts for a while. I've seen it with my own eyes. Well, because a few famous lawyers got caught, the media acting like this is a new thing. The jury system was meant to end the Dark Age, but you can't end what never existed at all. So really, what was even the point in all this? What were we trying to accomplish? What I was trying to accomplish? I had promised to fight for the change we needed to see in these courts. But is this really the change we needed? Was it really worth it in the end? What is the Dark Age of the law? What does it really mean? Is the jury system the key to ending it? What do I really want? That's it. What do you mean that's it? I mean, that's it. It's the end of the story. Huh? No, that can't be it. What happened to John Seething? Surely you must have found him by now. He disappeared shortly after the trial was put on hold. He was never seen again. We don't know where he is or what he's planning, or if he is planning anything. But what about the trial? Apollo had the evidence, so... Apollo had the evidence, he must have been able to... The trial ended while he and Emma were still in the bunker. It went exactly as they predicted. Without a concrete verdict, a mistrial was declared. And that was that. That was the end of the jury system. It was deemed that the jury system was far too risky an experiment to continue using. So I had to say goodbye to my baby. All because the jury couldn't reach a verdict during the final test. Hercule Erie was at least spared any more trouble thanks to the new evidence. Rumours say he took this as a sign to move to a better district and booked it up north. At least, I think so. I haven't heard from him since then. And what about everyone else? What happened to them? Manny Steele has been disgraced ever since the truth of the AS-10 incident was revealed. He was swiftly disbarred after the trial. Things have been pretty rough for him ever since. However, because we all wanted to sweep this under the rug, he was never formally charged with any of his crimes. Not too surprising to hear, but it is kind of sad in a way. If only he knew the kind of trouble he would cause by refusing to speak up for John. I bet he regrets everything and wishes he'd done it differently. Mira still works with the police to track down her former forgeries to this day. Sadly, she no longer does commission work. She's very careful about her projects. Shame, she sounds very talented, but it seems she learned a very harsh lesson. The world is cruel sometimes. Yeah, that we can both agree on. The rest of the story speaks for itself. Even if it ended in a mistrial, they still had to make a case file about the incident. There are only 2 copies of that file in existence. Edgeworth has the other one. Since we're supposed to treat it like it never happened, it doesn't have an official case number. So we've unofficially taken to calling it Codename GAMBIT. And that's why GAMBIT was written on the file. As for how I learned about it, I was sifting through some of Apollo's old files, same as you. Daddy caught me and told me not to read it, but I kinda didn't listen. Curious Jane is a spirit animal, it seems. Apollo and I had to explain the same story to her when she went snooping around. And that's all there is to say about this matter. So they had this whole discussion at a different time. Come on, Athena, it's not all bad. Sure, things sucked at the time, like really sucked. But things got better, and I think this experience was important for me. Made me realise I needed to take a more direct approach in ending the dark age of the law. Which is why I went to a different country. Edgeworth came to the agency not too long afterwards and convinced me to retake the bar exam. And to top it all off, I added a new member to this little family of ours. Psst! That means you, Athena. And sure, Apollo wasn't with us for the time being. But I trust him when he says it won't be forever. Believe me, Athena, things will be just fine. The future looks bright. The reason I told you the story isn't to wallow in my self-pity. I've moved past that attitude. Consider what I've told you today a cautionary tale, Athena. A tale of a man bitter at the world for wronging him and thinking he can do better. In many ways, my attitude wasn't too dissimilar to John's, but instead of burning the world, I thought I could rebuild it into something better. I was a fool. I was the one who needed to change. I flew too close to the sun. It was a harsh lesson to learn, but one I'm glad I did anyways. Remember my story, Athena. Remember it and learn from my mistakes. Don't be like me. Don't let your troubles cloud your vision of the future. Those visions now remain in the past, the dead dream of a man who was just bitter at the world. Hold on, Mr. Wright. I don't buy that for 1 second. Buy what? You have to play dumb, boss. I'm in the juris system. I don't believe you think the dream is dead. Look, Athena. You don't have to try and cheer me up. I'll be fine. Promise. I've moved past it. Have you really, though? You know you can't really hide anything from me. Apollo's not the only one with a special talent, you know. I can hear it, Mr. Wright. I can hear the discord in your heart. All this time, you've tried to pretend that you've moved on, that you don't care anymore. But you still do. You haven't let go of it. Only given up hope. Maybe you're right, Athena. Maybe I haven't let go yet. But so what? All that does is prove I'm still just a fool who can't let go of the past. That's not true either, boss. You know the juris system has its merits. Are you positive about that? Or are you just trying to make me feel better with empty words? Words? No, I didn't just bring words to prove my point. I have evidence to back up what I'm saying. Evidence? The evidence that proves the worth of the juris system is... It's not a profile, is it? No. I guess received from Juror 6, so. And what exactly is this? It's the evidence to prove the Juror system is worth pursuing. That just looks like a piece of junk to me. Well, it's okay. I knew you were bluffing. You don't have to prove anything to me. I'm good. No, let me try again. If I don't convince him now, he might give up on his dream forever. I don't know. The attorney's badge? No. AS10? This blackmail letter? The remote? Pulley? It's the pulley? Why is it the pulley? A pulley. This was the start of Apollo's counterattack. The evidence that tied everything together. With this, he was able to figure out how Corey Rupture actually died. Without this, he didn't have an argument. His case was dead in the water. And in fact, his case was dead. Hercule Erie was declared guilty. If this were any other trial, that would be the end of it. If it wasn't any other trial, he had one last trick up his sleeve. I don't get how these two really relate to each other, and then one came after the other, but I feel like he got evidence from one of the jurors. Well, I mean, that doesn't really prove the systems we're pursuing, but that's a logical 6%. Summation examination. He was given a second chance, a way to continue even after everything seemed hopeless. And then the unthinkable happened. Ha ha ha, feast your eyes on this. What is that? Some kind of pulley? No!
Mr. Edgeworth, are you okay?
Detective Sky, are you sure you found this pulley in the vents? Mr. Edgeworth, what's wrong? Why'd you have that look? Just answer the question, detective. Yes, I'm sure that's where I found it. Sky, Mr. Justice, you don't realize. I've seen an identical pulley to this one recently. Used as evidence in the larceny trial against Manny Steele. What? That pulley was vital to proving the truth of the case. And Apollo would never have found it if not for the help of the jury. So, John Seeling's still gone away in the end. Felt a little good that pulley did. Try telling that to Hercule Erie. Without the jury system, we'd have it much worse than a guilty man walking free. An innocent man would have been made to take his place. We get so concentrated on punishing the guilty that we forget justice doesn't end there. Justice also means protecting the innocent too. If we can only have one, I'll take protecting the innocent every single time. I don't care if John Seething gets away. I don't care if 100 John Seethings get away. Hercule Erie is a free man, and he would have taken the fall without the jury system. You may learn quite a bit from him. But what can we even do now? The jury system was already dismantled a long time ago. You have to try and get them to listen. To try it out again. What would I even say to them? After what happened last time? What else? Tell them the truth. Tell them it will end the dark age of the law. Because after listening to this story, I think I finally understand. We are in a dark age, but it's not caused by big bad actors using faulty evidence. All of that is just surface level stuff the media picked up on. The true dark age of the law is stagnation, and a refusal to deal with the corruption. Corey Rupture was a corrupt man before the dark age supposedly even began. But Manny Steele is an example of what I'm talking about. He saw the corruption, but he refused to do anything about it. He let it happen. We don't have to be like that. The corruption will take on new forms, but if we're willing to change to fight them, we can do it. We can create a better world. And I believe the jury system is the change we need right now. So that's your belief, is it? from the bottom of my heart. Well then, I suppose I should get going, shouldn't I? Going? Going where? Well, to my bedroom firstly. I've got to put on a suit. And then I've got to make a few phone calls. Wait, you mean you've convinced me, Athena? I'm going to give it another shot. Boss! I can't believe I actually convinced him. Daddy, you're out of your fun! I guess I was in a bit of a mood today, wasn't I? I swear, wearing hoodies are strange things to you. So does that mean you're going to have a talk with Mr. Edgeworth then? Among some others, yes. Though, he might not actually be the first one I give a call to. Hercule Leary, right? Huh? Who's the first one? Well, that's for me to know, isn't it? Now you're keeping secrets from me too? Oy vey. Not again. Still, I can sense that the discord in his heart is gone. In fact, I can hear a new confidence in it. He's back to his usual self. I can trust you to look after the office while I take care of a few things, right? Yes, boss, you can count on me. The gesture was sweet, but I was talking to Trucy. Oh. You can count on me, Daddy. We'll have this place spick and span in no time. Isn't that right, Dina? Huh? Wait. No, I forgot. It's still cleaning day. Come on, this place isn't going to clean itself. Grab a broom and start sweeping. Why? And that's how I learned the story of the secret trial. It gives me a lot to think about for the future of our courts. Will the jury system come back? Will we ever see John seething once again? Will we ever learn what caused the AS tendency to occur? Maybe I'll get all the answers to this someday. All I know is Apollo left me a mission, and now it's my job to finish what he started. I'll do it, Apollo. The jury system doesn't have to be just a dream. I want to just listen to that a bit more. Hello, you've reached the Justice and Co-Law offices. How can I help you? Oh, I just wanted to talk to an old friend, is all. Mr. Wright. Hey, Apollo. How have you been holding up? Well, you know, same old, same old. Rebuilding a legal system is hard. What about on your end? Anything exciting happen? Well, did I tell you about the case that happened in the blimp during a wedding? Not yet, but I did read about that. Glad to know it's not completely boring now without me. Actually, Apollo, there was one thing I wanted to ask you about. Well then, shoot. You remember the incident with John seething, right? Pretty vividly, yeah. Well, the thing is, Athena, she found the file for that. Oh, did she know? What happened? Well, she was persistent, so I had to tell her everything. You wouldn't have to have a hand in this, would you? Figured out it was me, huh? Yeah, I asked Trucy to leave the file out when you guys had your next cleaning day. I figured it was about time she knew what happened. So she could take over for you on that one then. Yeah, that was one of the things I thought about before deciding to stay. I knew I couldn't just leave if I didn't trust her with it. But I do. I think she's ready. So I don't know, this time, you never gave up the dream even when I did. I had my doubts after that trial, but I ultimately decided I couldn't just give up. The jury system saved Judge Erie's life. I couldn't have done that by myself. Funny, that's the exact reasoning she gave too. You guys haven't secretly been rehearsing this, have you? Haha. No, don't worry. I needed to come to this conclusion herself. Well, it was a good reminder for me why I fought so hard for the jury system to begin with. I felt so lost after that trial, I convinced myself it was bad to bury my dreams in the past. But seeing you two trying so hard to convince me to keep fighting renewed my spirit. So then, you gonna try again? Yeah, it won't be easy to convince the courts after what happened last time. But I have to try. Our courts need this change. I can't let it end here. The main reason why I called is to let you know if I can get this thing started up again. You chose the right successor. The case is in good hands. I know. John is still out there, and I know he's not done with his revenge. He'll be back one day, and when that day comes, we need to be ready. But I know I'm leaving my hope for the future with the right person. I know you'll continue on our hopes and dreams. You'll change things for the better. Athena, I'm counting on you. The end, finally. After, well, I can't really say that after playing Turnabout and Lighthouse of Lunacy. Kind of, this was, you know, over in a flash in comparison. But yeah, this was made for the Broken Commandments competition. Backgrounds, perceived backgrounds, credits. But while these credits play, the GK2 translation team for the overall. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, because this would have been made before the official release of Gakuten Kenjutsu. So thoughts while these credits are going. There were a few complaints that I already made when they were happening. It was mainly to do with sort of the logic of what you were supposed to present in that last section. Not just the final argument, but also like the final thing where you have to present the pulley to Phoenix. I thought, you know, it was a bit finicky. Jonathan Seething will return. Yep. Well, I'll get back to my thoughts in a second, but... Well, I certainly wasn't expecting to see you here. You don't have to be afraid. I don't have any intention of hurting you. And even if I did, I'm not exactly in a position where I can really do that. I called you here because I received a mysterious letter in the mail not too long ago. To the ones that have cracked the case. Originally, this is where we planned for everything to come to a close. The villain escaped, the system was in shambles, but there was hope for what's to come. The further we dug deeper, however, the more we realised we can't let it end there. There's still more to this mystery that needs to be explained. We can't close the case yet. We ask that you be patient as we uncover the last of the answers behind this tale. Signed, the Storytellers. I have no idea what it means. It just sounds like a bunch of nonsense rambling to me. But I know it must be important to the situation I find myself in now. I guess what I'm trying to say is, Miss Sykes, I need your help. Oh boy. Turnabout and consequences. Thank you for playing the Secret Turnabout. We hope you're looking forward to whatever adventures we have planned next. We hope to see you again real soon. So yeah, that was a pretty ballsy ending there. Nice cliffhanger. I don't know if that... I've heard... I don't think Turnabout and Consequences is out. I'll check that obviously, and if it is, it'll be the next thing I'm playing. If not, I already have an idea of what I want to do next. Last week I didn't release a video, and I already made a post about this, but as a way of making up for that, I'm going to be releasing something special. It's going to be... I'm not going to tell you what it is here, but... you know what, I will tell you. You've watched this for 1 hour and 50 minutes now, so I guess you deserve to know at least. I'm going to be playing the Ace Attorney 3 fan translation that was made in... It was made in about 2006, so the official translations of the first two games was out, but it hadn't been announced that the third one would be getting an official translation yet. So the translation only covered the first case, but I just think it's a really neat part of Ace 10 history, and I haven't played it through myself. I know bits about it. but it's just been really neat to go through a piece of Ace Attorney history. That will be coming out sometime in the next few weeks. I'm going to upload it outside of my normal Friday schedule. As for what's going to happen next Friday, I do have an idea of what I'm going to do, and that video might also be a little different, but it will relate to a case I've already played through. I'll keep tight-lipped on that one because my plans might change. It just depends, because I've got a list of things I want to go through. Now that the secret turnabout's over. And again, that's only if Turnabout and Consequences isn't a thing. I don't know if it's out yet. And as going back to what I was saying before about my thoughts, I had those little criticisms of the way things were handled, but for the majority of this case, it's been an absolute blast. I've loved, the interactions with the jury. That's very innovative. Even the way that last argument was going, there was definitely a good flow I got into, even if towards the end it got a bit messy. But it was really cool seeing all these new gameplay mechanics. There was very good writing for Jonathan Seeding. There was grammar mistakes. I noticed them more in the first half, admittedly. So I think Act 3 was a bit more thoroughly proofread. But, they provided some funny moments for me. I don't mind them really, because I could poke fun at them, just know it was all in good fun. Jonathan Seeding obviously being the standout character. It was interesting to do a villain in my normal voice, because I started this case doing Aiden Gambit. I was doing my normal voice because I was doing my normal voice for a lawyer. That kind of meant I had to give a different voice to Apollo, but I kind of like the voice I've given Apollo now, because he's always said to have like this raspy voice, right? So I think that's what I'm going to do from now on, even though I have voiced Apollo differently in the past when I played through Ace of Turnabouts on the channel. And as for the other characters, Jojo was fine, he was a defendant. I got to give him a cool Scottish accent for some reason. Money Steele, he was a bit pathetic, but I guess kind of human in that way. He was a bit of a scaredy cat, and that was his main issue. We had some stuff teased with the politician, which might come up in this next case where he plays Athena, and we love playing as Athena in case where he plays Athena are the best. That's a totally non-biased opinion I have. I think that's pretty much all I have to say. It was a really good case. I really enjoyed it. And whether or not Turnabout Consequences is out yet, I will be playing on this channel. And this has been the length of 2 videos now, but I'm glad I stuck out and got it finished, because that was actually a really good conclusion to do all in one. So and I have pretty much made up for last week now by doing this extra long video, but I will still be releasing the fan translation at some point. Maybe not super soon, because I've got a lot of work coming up for uni, but I'll see how things go, and we can get on with playing as many cases as we can, because there are so many cases I need to get through. It take ages, but I'm glad I've got this channel as a way of recording my experience with them. I'm preserving the medium, there is actually another channel called Fan Case Archive, which has started, and they've actually played Ace of Turnabouts and the Web of Turnabouts now. So that's good, but we should archive as many as we can and try and promote them, because these are really well written pieces of media. I don't know of any of the
fandom that has this kind of level of effort put into its fan works. We can have this community of fan case makers. It's just really great to be part of that community as well. And you know, if you've got any ideas, you the viewer, it's as simple as, you know, getting involved, going on the website, making an account, making your first case. I entered a competition for my first case, and I was way too ambitious, but I somehow managed to pull it off. But you don't have to do that. You can just ease yourself in. And if you can, you might want to find someone to collab with, because it makes the workload easier. But yeah, this is the end of the video. I've run out of things to say. See you next time.